Welcome to my channel. This is the Wendy in Neverland channel. We talk a lot about cross stitch as well as a few other life things that are going on. So I'm glad you're here. Hopefully our little greeting covered whichever time of the day you're watching it. Hopefully you're also having a nice or somewhat nice sunny day, whether it's a fall day or a spring day. Fall days can be very lovely as well. It's once you get in the winter, it can be kind of nasty. Summer, you can have sun, but it can be hot. So this is kind of nice having it right, in that middle time. Anyway, I have a lot to cover today. Lots of stitching projects as well as bags, other life updates. There's been a lot going on. I know I said that last month, but life just doesn't seem to slow down. This is May 1st, 2021, in case you were wondering. I usually try to do my videos at the very end of a month, but because of my schedule, it just turned out that this was the best day. So pretty close to the end of the month, just kind of the start of first of the month. So let's do a few life updates. Man, I can't talk today, y'all. I don't know what's going on. So, first things, as I said, the bag thing. I have been selling quite a few bags. I showed you in the last video some new bags I had done, and then I did a group of another new bags, which I got a bunch of orders for as well. So I am going to show you those. They're kind of stitching related, I guess. So I'm going to show you those, and that way you can kind of see, and if you're interested, you can hop over to the Bags by Wendy on Instagram, and there's underscores between the words. So make sure, hopefully you get that typed in right if you haven't been there yet. So let me grab some of those. I do have some that I just have the fabric for because I already sold the bags I had pre-made. But if you notice on the site now, I will tell you what size bag I can make it up to. So it can be anywhere from a really small one to whatever size I've listed. So I will make more if you would want one. So one of them is this cute little pincushion, tomato pincushion one. Very, very cute. It's just pretty much the colors of beads for the zipper pull, and it's got a nice red back on it. Another really cute one. Kitties! Sometimes it's hard to find really cute cat ones that aren't really goofy or really kiddish. This is really, really cute. It does have, so cute, the yarn balls on the back. The front has coordinating color beads as well as a cat head with a jewel in it. The jewel would be a different color than this, but I try to find something, it's going to match pretty close to what's there. The next one, another silly one. I just did this because I saw the fabric and I was like, wow, that's really cute. Silly geese. Now, I have different looks to what the geese are doing, so they're not all doing this. In some cases, one of them is pulling the other geese, or goose, I should say, in a wagon. There's a lot of variety. And because it's oranges, there's got orange accent at the top. I'm just using beads that coordinate, kind of. I mean, they're the same kind of coloring. It's just kind of silly funness there, and it's just that kind of back to it. This has been a very popular one. Right now, so this is buttons, like buttons and jars, and then very nice fabric on the back. At the front, again, it's kind of like these. They remind me of corn, pieces of corn, colored beads, and then a jewel type bead at the bottom. Again, it would be a different color bead besides this if I made more. Now, this is a 7x9. This is one I have left. I do not have any more of this fabric to make bigger ones, but if you're interested, I can go and see if there's some still available. Sometimes when I purchase something recently, as long as somebody gets to me fairly quickly, then I can go back to the store and try and find more. It just kind of all depends. So you can ask me if you're interested, and I will check that out. Another sweet, cute one. Very, very nice for spring, or some bunnies. And these, the nice thing about this one, because I did have a hard time finding this, is that it wasn't Easter related or too kidsy. It's just a sweet Easter, I mean not Easter, bunny one. Nice green at the top, kind of the bunny-ish color for the back. Nice. And then we have a bunny. Oh, he wants to spin around a bit. He's not holding still very well. Let me get the zipper to lie still. It is, oh my goodness, I did this last time. It just kept wanting to spin around on me. It is a bunny with some colored beads that go with it. The last one that I have pre-made to show you is this lovely bag. This does not have vinyl on it. It is, let me set those down a minute here. It is, you know, a cloth front all the way. The inside has this nice soft green to it. Let's see what we got for our zipper pull. Got that. This one, it has this bird on it. It would probably be slightly different. I have variations of this type of bird, but they wouldn't be exact. A nice back, the brown and greens to kind of match with what's going on here. So this one is, these are kind of more one of a kind. So I have panels that have different bird and bird nests in them. So if you were on the site and you clicked on this, you would see different pictures of the different options for this center part to be in. So you could look at those to find that. Now, I do have 3 that I don't have bags for, but I have fabric for, so I can show you what the front fabric would look like. These 2 of them, and I'll tell you which ones are which, would have vinyl, and one would not have vinyl. It would be more like this. Yes, I believe. Well, no, I think I take that back. I think all 3 of them were vinyl. Okay, so one of them was this. Isn't this sweet? It's got rabbits and squirrels, and I think even just the way I cut this, this was a hedgehog, so I have bigger pieces as well. So that's a nice, sweet one. I can't tell you what the zipper pull is. I can't remember right off the top of my head. Oh, this one has also been popular. B-scaps. That's very nice. And again, you can go on the Instagram site and see what the backs and the coordinating zipper accent fabric was, as well as the zipper pulls. So you'd be able to see it there. This next one is kind of like the bird one, where you would pick which image you would want. And I'm pretty sure that this was vinyl, though I can't be 100% sure. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, y'all. Just telling you right now, crazy couple of weeks. Okay, it's these dogs. Are they just the funniest things or what? So each picture is one panel, would make up one bag. So you got, I got this. You've got this one. I think it says Hello Gorgeous there. And then Be My Person. And then I got a couple others. Happy, happy, happy. It says all over it. And then, what does that say? It says you smile good. That's what that word is. You smile good. You may see other pictures on that, but those ones have sold already. So make sure you pick the ones that are available if you're interested in the dog ones. So yeah, I was busy. I put a whole bunch of new bags out a couple weeks ago, and it's been very busy, needless to say. So that was what's been keeping me busy for that. Also a couple weeks ago, so that might have been just over 2 weeks. I'm not sure exactly the time frame of when I did that, but I know it's been pretty close to 2 weeks, maybe just under that, that we had a slight scare. And I know for some of you who don't own pets, this may seem trifle, or you're like, really? That, even if you own pets, you're like, that doesn't seem that big of a deal. But we have 2 cats, and they are both indoors. And you might have seen them on videos at different times. We have a long-haired black cat and a short-haired white, mostly white cat. So they're indoor cats. We don't, I mean, if they went outside, we're holding them, really. That's about it. We just might walk outside and just kind of hold them, and that's about it. They don't go outside. So one morning, I'm the one who does the litter box. I know this is really something people want to talk about, nasty litter box. But when I did it, I noticed that it didn't seem like it had been used that much. Like only one cat had used it. And I cleaned it every day. So that was in the morning. And that kind of put a little, flag in my head saying something doesn't seem quite right here. Then I had to go into another town about a half hour away to get some stuff done. And my husband calls me around lunchtime and says, "Have you seen the black cat?" No, I don't think I saw her before I left. And here's the issue with the litter box. Okay, well, that means something's up, because she usually always comes for meals. There's never a time when she doesn't come for a meal. And we feed them 3 times, but we feed them very small amounts each time. And we have an automatic feeder, so it's not like we have to be here to feed them. So we're kind of wondering is she in the house somewhere and hiding and she's sick, or worse yet, she's died somewhere? I don't know. We don't know. Did she get out somehow? We don't know. So I wasn't planning to come home because we were going to do stuff with our friends that live out that direction. But I said, I will come home and I will help search for her. So I got here, I searched, and my husband had done some searching too. I searched in every nook and cranny all over again. We have these with our roof upstairs, you got pretty steep pitch, and then the walls come up here. So we've got kind of this attic storage space, and it's got sheetrock in part of it. So it's not like it's totally unfinished, but we do store stuff in there. So we're moving stuff out of there and looking and digging and trying to see if she's hiding somewhere in there. And at one point I am looking up into the roof line that would go past the wall. And there's insulation that goes up in there. But I'm like, well, it kind of looks like something could have pushed against it. Because we got boxes stacked in there. So she could have hopped up there. And maybe she pushed on there and somehow she got into the real attic space. Don't know. And I'm trying to push the insulation up with a stick as far as I can to see. And I can't tell. And we're using flashlights because it's kind of dark in there. Cannot tell if she might have crawled up in there and then couldn't get down. And I don't know exactly how it has been constructed up there to know if she could get in anything. So I'm thinking, well, because it looks like something pushed on the insulation, can't tell the construction, I'm going to have to rip part of this insulation out to see if she's stuck up there. So, if you've done any kind of work like this, the insulation has paper backing on it, and it's just stapled to the studs of walls and such. So all you have to do is pull it off from where the staples are connected. So I did that, and then I started pulling it down out of the roof. And as I'm doing this, I'm like, if she's not up here, I'm going to kill her. Because this is quite, extensive when you're looking for an animal. So pull it out, pull it out. It's just this hollow space that goes up about 4 feet between the studs and stops, and it's completely blocked off. It's completely encased. There's nowhere for her to be up there. So, I'm going to have to put that back. I mean, I have, but at that point, it's like, oh, great. Now I'm going to have to somehow get this back up in there, which I did. It's not pretty, but it's up there. So we continue to look outside as well, calling her. We've got the treats, the box of treats that we're rattling, as we call her, as we look outside. We cannot find her. And I even walk like a block around the neighborhood. I talked to our neighbors and told them, can't find her. We don't know where she is. And probably around 3-ish, 3:30-ish, something like that, we needed to leave we were going to do stuff with our friends. And it's not that we felt like, oh, we're leaving her where we could have done something. Why are we going to go do stuff with our friends? there was nothing we can do. We can't find her. And we've done everything that we can do. So there's no point in sticking around and just not being able to do anything. Plus, doing something else kept my mind off the fact that she's now out here, potentially outside, and who knows what might have happened to her. So we go off and we do stuff with our friends. We told our son, who had been at work, that we couldn't find her, just so he would know. And he was actually able to come home from work a little early. He normally wouldn't have gotten home till about 7:30 or 8 that night, but he was able to leave early and come home and looked a bunch for her, and he couldn't find her. And after a couple of hours looking, he would just come out and look out our front door about every hour and see if potentially she was out there waiting, because the best that we can figure, she's been gone for almost 24 hours now. Probably hasn't eaten, may not have drank anything. She's probably hungry. So you would think if she's not far away and nothing has gotten to her, she would come home. So he keeps checking about every hour. And about the time that we were coming home that night, which is probably around 10 o'clock, we got a call. We got a call from him. And at first it was just kind of this breathless sound. And I'm thinking, what is he doing? What is going on? And he finally says, I think I've found her. Yeah. So he was doing one of his checks, and he had opened the door and was looking out, and he just barely heard something. And when he turned to look, there she was, darting around the corner of the house. And so when he went to the edge of the corner, she was already down to the other end of the house, towards the backyard. She knows us, and she will come to us most of the time, but she is so freaked out that she's running away from us. So who knows what happened to her in that 24 hours. So he goes in and gets the treats. That convinces her to come over to him, and he's able to get her then. But yeah, it was not a good day, but thankfully it turned out well. And if you have pets, you know when something's wrong with them, just how it churns up inside of you and how you feel. So all's well that ends well, thankfully. All right. Another update kind of thing that happened when we lived in Minnesota and I was going to Stitchville every month. So once a month, usually at the end of the month on a Friday night, they had a stitch-in, they called it. So like 12 of us would gather. They had a little room with a nice long table, and we would all have a stitching night for like, I don't know, 5 hours or something like that. So it was a good long time. And I loved it, made a lot of good stitchy friends there. Missed them when I moved here. I was able to get into kind of a group, the Pacific Northwest Stitcher group that met once a month at Acorns and Threads. So I was able to get into another group and meet more new friends. And so I was able to do that. Obviously, since the last year, we haven't been able to do it. But I missed my Minnesota friends. And whenever I would fly out there to visit, for whatever reason, I have tried, and I can't remember if it's once or twice now that I've done this. I've tried to make sure that our visit would fall at the end of the month, and I would sign up to come to their Friday night stitch-in. And so I have been able to see them a couple of times since we've moved back here, but now with the Corona stuff going on, the restrictions, we haven't been able to meet here. I haven't been able to go out there. And Zoom is okay if that's all we have. So they had started for the last couple of months or so having Zoom stitch-ins, but they always did it on Friday nights like we used to do. Well, since we've lived here and we do stuff with our friends on Friday nights, it's like I can't do the stitch-in with them, and it's so sad because I want to. So I asked last month, can we possibly do a Saturday one? You know, if you want to keep the end of the month Friday one, that's fine, but can we do maybe another one on a Saturday, whether it's morning, because they also used to do Saturday, once a month, Saturday mornings. So when they had their Friday night one, they put it out to everybody. Would you be interested in doing Saturday? And they were. So for April, they had it on a Saturday and they did it in the evening, and I was able to join in. It was so cool and so much fun being able to see all those friends again and be able to talk with them and laugh and have a great time. That I really, really appreciated that. That was a lot of fun. So hopefully I will get into the one in May. We're going to be doing it a week early because the last Saturday, I should say, was Memorial Day weekend. So they didn't want to kind of have it happen the same weekend. So we're going to do it a week before. But yeah, that was so much fun. I'm looking forward to this month's stitching when we get together. One more update before we get to some stitching stuff. I know these updates seem to be kind of long. My cat story was a little too long. Sorry about that. I got a job, y'all. I've been thinking about it. You know, the last one I had was probably close to 2 years ago now. I think it's been about 2 years. When I had injured my shoulder and I couldn't do it anymore. And then thinking about, well, could I get another job? What could I do? Because I have to be careful with if it's going to cause any pain to my shoulder. And then, you know, I work for a week and have to quit. I don't want to do that. So there was a family in our church who owns a stump grinding business, and their business has exploded and just gone crazy for at least 6 months, if not a year. I can't remember how long that they've kind of really bumped up their business. It's just gone crazy. So they needed somebody to come in and help with the office stuff. So they put out an email saying that he needs to hire somebody. I call him up, interviewed a couple days later, and they hired me that day. It was great. Yay! So it's stuff I like to do. I love doing office work, and even if it's just boring hunting through files to find things. But I'm also doing invoices and doing utility requests and all kinds of stuff. And they haven't even showed me everything on that I'm probably going to be doing. So I'm doing a lot of that stuff, which I love. It's part-time. So initially we were talking 3 days a week, like 9 to 2 or 3. So it's not a really long day. I did work another day this past week, so I don't know. I mean, I prefer not to because there's a lot of things I need to hear, especially if I'm going to have bags that I need to do. So I want to have time to be able to get some stuff done here. So that has been great, and I love the job and everything. My brain's fried because I have been there for 6 days, and every single day there's something new that they're showing me, and I think they've just scratched the surface on all the things that I need to learn. So my brain's just going, oh, help me, the squirrels are tired. Anyway, the only negative thing is it's a bit of a long drive, but it's a beautiful drive because I'm driving through the valley for a good portion of it, and then I don't really get into more urban areas until the latter part of the drive. So it's okay. It's what I want to do. It's not every day, all day. It's okay. So that's the only negative thing about the whole part of it. So I'm very happy. Very happy. Alrighty. We are going to get into some stitchy stuff now. I have, as I mentioned, several things that I've got to show you. A couple of them are finishes, not FFOs. In fact, remember at the beginning of the year, I said I was going to make you guys accountable to me for getting FFO things done. Last month, I showed you a video of something that I had FFO'd for my friend. So I'd actually FFO'd one thing, but I didn't get 2 things done. And this past month, I got none, 0 things FFO'd. Part of it is because of all the bag stuff that I was doing. It was taking up, you know, a lot of my time to fill all those. And then I started this new job and it's just been crazy with everything going on. I want to get back into making sure I get things finished. And I'm going to try and push real hard. So never fear, I'm not giving up. It's just kind of a delay. As for Stitch Mania, because I know that's starting now for some of you, or in some cases the Stitch Sania, I originally thought at the beginning of April that maybe I will kind of do something a little different than my normal schedule that I have laid out for the year. And then I got the new job. So I don't think I'm going to do anything different for Mania. I'm just going to keep with my normal schedule and just do that. So that's all. That's all I'm going to do for that. So let's get into the stitching things now. Okay, so one of the things I worked on with Life with Cats. So you got all 3 of those, and if you had been following me, watching my videos, you know that I'm stitching them all on one piece of material, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to FFO it, but I pretty much finished the stitching part of these. So let's show you that. Alrighty, so there we go. There's all of it. So I'll show you close up some of these. Get that one, and this is the one I had to finish up this month and work on. Whoops, there we go. So it's on a longer piece. I mean, obviously I won't need part of this side, but it's just a matter of framing it or finishing it or whatever I'm going to do. So that was excellent that I got this finished. With this, I ended up working this month about 13 hours on it. This is on, this is Newcastle Country Mocha 40 count. So that's what this fabric is that I ended up using. But yeah, I love it. It's so cute. And if you own cats, you know that those are very appropriate sayings. Okay, the next one that I worked on is Madame Chantilly Freedom. So cute. I love things with mice in them. And she does a lot. Madame Chantilly does a lot of things. With this one, I ended up working about 10 hours on it. And this was a brand new start for me. This is one of my new starts. So about 10 hours, I used Edinburgh flax for the fabric, and it's a 36 count. I got quite a bit done for the amount a new start. So there, that's the bottom of the watering can with some of the ivy that's draped up. So yeah, got quite a bit done there. So there is one of the new starts that I did. The next one I worked on was a whip. And that's this one, 4 corners. I love this. It's great. I love it. In case you're wondering, I always kept thinking this is an upside down R, but I believe that's a K. Because I found the R somewhere else. Oh, the R is up here. So this, just a little fancy. All the letters are in a different font style. So that's why. This is Rosewood Manor, in case you were wondering. I used a Belfast cream for this. I worked about 23.5 hours on it. It is 32 count. I think I have this upside down. Let me turn this around. Okay, hopefully it's not going to be backlit somehow. So there is what I did. Now I'm going to have you look at this and tell me what you see wrong. What do you see wrong there? Yeah, somehow I got the edge wrong. This is about the bottom. I don't think I'm going to have to put stitches really much farther down than that. So there's a tiny bit of room, but how on earth, this side is fine because that's the edge of that side. I think this side's going to be fine. It looks like the top's going to have, I just shifted it down too far. And I started in the middle, so that's why, you know, there's a potential problem there. Normally I don't do that. Normally I don't miscalculate. Every once in a while though, I do. So if it becomes a problem, what I will do is I will like sew a piece of fabric to this that will help me be able to finish it. So it won't be seen, whatever fabric, but if I need this room as kind of the border in a frame or whatever, and I wouldn't have enough to have this wrapped around like foam core, then the extra fabric will allow me to wrap it around and secure it. So that's probably what I'm going to have to do. I just don't know yet. But that's so frustrating when you've worked all this time and you get down there like, oh, wait a minute, something's wrong. Yeah, but I love it. It's so pretty. There are a few specialty stitches, but not a lot. So this is more of the part that I worked on this time, was that emblem. There's a little bit there. There. And if I've got any kind of video of before when I started working on it for this month, I will insert those. But yeah, there's that. All right, so I have another new start that I did. Liberty Hill Farm. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I think, we'll see how it turns out, because I'm kind of going to mess with things a little bit, so I don't know if this will be exactly what I do. Is I'm going to do all of this image, because what they say is that you could do this image and this image on top of each other, but it would make it really tall and kind of a skinny one, and I don't know that I would want it that tall and have it that skinny. So I do want a little bit more, so I'm going to do this, and you can see this border here, and probably what I'm going to do is put this writing in, which is, that's kind of what that looks like, Liberty Hill Farm, and I'll put that on the bottom, and then possibly that border under those words, so it'll look different than this, and I won't have all these vine things going on. It doesn't really show you a picture of, I mean, it kind of shows you the picture of this when it's laid out flat before it's turned into this. So it's got the grass, and there's like trees and some vines with some berries and stuff on it. So that's what it'll look like when it's finished stitching. Now, when I went to go, before I show you this, when I went to go do threads for this, the floss and such, the floss key gives you the colors in Sulky and DMC. I don't really have any Sulky, so I thought, well, maybe I'll just use DMC. So as I was going through this and looking at stuff, there is one DMC color, 905, that they use for 2 of the symbols. And you're thinking, well, maybe they're close enough that it doesn't really matter. But the description is dark green and blue. How are you using one 905 for a dark green and a blue? It doesn't make any sense to me. Plus, with DMC, I mean, you're not really going to see any variegation like with the grass or anything else that has a lot to it. So I thought, well, I think I'm going to go to Acorns and just pull threads that I want to use. Kind of the coloring here for these. Maybe not exact. I didn't even look at the equivalent for the DMC. I just chose them based on what I liked in my coloring. So I ended up using, I think it was Classic Colorworks is the threads I use, and I just went and pulled all new ones. So I'm using Garden Trellis, Ruby Slippers, Eve's Leaves, Bramble Bush, Pine Needles, Wavy Navy, Queen Bee, and Prairie Grass. And so those will be what I'm going to use instead of what they have listed here. So let's show you. Now, pardon the extra threads because I'm in the middle of doing stuff, but here's what I got done. Very cute. So with this, I am using Weeks 10 Roof, which I think is what they called for. It's a 32 count. I worked on this for about 9 hours, and that's how much I got done. So very nice. So you can even see the variegation in the red because I used a fancy floss and a little bit of variegation in the brown up here. There is this yellow that was the queen bee color. That's that in there, but you can see the brown has a little bit of variegation in it. So I liking it, like. And I hope that it turns out the way I'm going to kind of mess around with it. All right, next one that I did was a whip. I've showed you this several times in other videos, but it's a finish now. And that is the Antique Rooster Sampler. Okay, JBW Designs is the one who did this. I worked on this for about 10 hours. I'm using a Belfast Natural, and it is a 32 count. Yeah, and with this, when you bought it, it came with, at least the one I did, came with buttons to put on as accents. So I got those on and everything as well. So here it is. It's finally done. So pretty. I love it. So it's got a couple of different variations of buttons. They're not all just exactly the same in size or look. So lots and lots of different motifs to go with the roosters and the lettering. And again, the lettering is a little different in a lot of the font look. It's not all the same, as well as some kind of really funky differentness to what they put around some of the letters. Like in here, they've got, you know, this stalk, probably corn stalk. The T over here has, you know, wreath around it. So yeah, it is so cute. So cute. I love that. All right, I have one more, y'all. All right, and that was, I do the Stitching Book Club. I am part of that, and it sells throughout the year. We're going to read books as well as doing a sell along with it. I'm sure some people have been doing it that you've been watching. We just finished Sense and Sensibility. That was a tough one to get through. I'm hoping that the rest of the books, I know some of them are not going to be nearly as rough to get through, but Sense and Sensibility, just kind of keeping your brain like following what they're saying and what's going on in the story. And yeah, it was a little rough, but I did it, and I'm very glad I did. So the project that we did, she gave 2 variations. She could have done it on some blue fabric, or you can have done it on white fabric. And because I kind of like the look of both, I did both. I'm almost finished. I know we have already finished the book and the discussions for them, but I'm a little behind. We haven't started our next book yet, so I'm kind of still got time to finish it up before we get to the next one. So here is the one on the blue fabric. Very pretty. Very nice. Very soft blending of colors to go into the flowers. These have the same ones, so it's kind of a really light taupe into kind of cream. Very nice. Then for the white, I don't think I wrote down how long I worked on this. It's kind of been hit or miss as to when I would work on it. The white looks like this. So this has some purple in it, obviously, because the blue, you know, you already have blue fabric, so you don't necessarily want blue flowers all over it. So you got blue in here as well as the purple, just to get a little variation. So I have a little bit more of this down here to do, and then I will be finished with this one as well. Yay! I am going to try to insert a picture here of how she had suggested finishing it, because it's a little different, but it's very pretty. So I'll put that in here. So you can see it would be really nice if I actually finished it. We'll see. We know how well I'm getting to those FFOs. So the only other stitching I did was my Haid. And as I've done in the past, I'm going to put in videos of when I started at the beginning of this month of April, and then what I have worked on it up until the end of the month. I got a lot done. And part of that is because I didn't have a lot of confetti going on all the time. There's the point I'm at to now seems to have a little bit more of that, but before that, the row I'm going across just seemed to fly because I didn't have to change colors constantly. I had a lot more stitching I could do with the same color. So that helped a lot. So I feel like I got a lot more done than I've ever done before. All right, the only other thing I think I have to tell you about, hopefully, is any purchases I've done. And I showed you what I had gotten from the expo. I showed you that last month, so I'm not going to go over that again. So really the only thing I have gotten, because I haven't been able to get to Stitchville to Acorns until closer towards the end of the month. And so it's like, I haven't really gotten over there to get stuff. So mostly it was just getting like fabric, kitting up some stuff. I did get some floss, like I mentioned, for that Liberty Hill farm one. I had to get floss for that. Maybe a couple other little flosses for projects that I was getting low on. But maybe mainly, oh my gosh, people, mouth needs to work. Mostly it was just fabric. So I got some lovely fabrics. Pretty standard type of fabrics. I've got the natural brown linen. I've got, what is this one? This is Picture This Plus Velt. And then just some white linen, some Edinburgh. I think I'm gonna dye some of this for a project. I think that's why I got it. So I hope you enjoyed all of that and it brought you some fun and entertainment, updates, whatever you want to think of it as. I think a couple of videos ago when I talked about Joyfield Stitcher, how she kind of really got people to know that I was out there with my bags, and such a sweet lady was going through some kidney stones last week, and I'm hoping that she's feeling better. I know that that's a rough thing to go through. Thankfully, I haven't had to deal with that, but my husband has. It's been quite a few years ago that he had to deal with that, but he also knew of a friend who would get them quite often, and because he knew the symptoms and he knew what it was like, he would actually go to the hospital and they would knock him out until the kidney stone passed, because it's awful. As she put it, and I've heard other people say it's worse than labor, which I can't even fathom, because labor is bad enough. For all of you who have had kids, you know. So yeah, I'm hoping that she's feeling better. I think when I watched her video that she put out, was a really, really short one, just kind of updating what was going on, that it still had not passed yet, so maybe it has by now. I haven't checked to see if she put out a video yesterday or not, but hopefully she's feeling better. My thoughts are going out to her. So with that, we will end our lovely video, and yeah, I hope you all are having good days. We all have trying days, but hopefully we're getting through those trying days without too much of a struggle and looking at the light on the other side, the other end of the tunnel. So anyway, with that, I will send you off and we'll see you again in another month. Bye.